As you can see here, I am standing just inside the doors near the bus stop because it was raining outside and I didn't want to get wet. But you'll notice who just arrived there. It's that same individual who they've sent on multiple occasions to follow me, basically getting on the same bus stop as me, following me all the way into a different province, and then going to stand directly outside of the house where I live. Lingering at the place next door and purposefully waiting on a phone for instructions. Two previous occasions I've documented him doing these things. And so because CSIS knows this, obviously they usually send these stalkers back once they've been exposed. So I'll expect to see this stalker being sent on a semi-regular basis now. So here he's just arrived, and like I said in the previous video, usually right when he arrives, they'll ask him to go and linger pretty close to where I am. So obviously maybe he's been sent a text message here letting them know that I'm just inside the doors. So then as I step out, you'll see he's lingering fairly close by. And again, he's been given instructions to get on the bus that is going to where I'm going. But there are 3 different buses to get there, so I don't necessarily have to get on the one that he's going to get on. So I purposefully waited on this occasion to see which bus he was going to get on, and then waited and didn't get on that bus, because I knew there were a couple others that were going to be going to the same area anyway. So I waited, and again, this time, just before he gets on, as he did the previous time, you'll notice he looks over toward me to see if I'm going to be getting on. And then, so even though I get on a different bus, and his bus leaves a fair amount of time ahead of mine, still, as you'll see in the video, they send him to wait across the street, and just as I get off the bus, again, to walk over to the place that is located right next door to where I live. And he does it in a real theatrical manner where he's walking really slow and continually looking at the phone. And they're doing that so that I'll see it for sure. So you'll see, again, the same stalker being sent literally to get on the bus at the same area where I would be getting on. And even despite my attempts to avoid him, they still have him wait and linger for me to arrive, and then they sent him to go and stand next door to the place where I live. And this is CSIS and Danielrogers sending the stalker to do this again. So you'll see that here.
Thank you. Wearing the same clothing too, of course. They have them wearing the same shirt, same clothing and everything, same hat. That never changes. Well, changed once since they've been sending them. So I'll let him get on first. It's important to note that that guy, I'd never once seen that guy here prior to the first time when I put that video up. He had never been here, so now they send him every day because I put him up, so that's okay. I can send him. He just won't get on where he's getting on. But yeah, sorry, yesterday they didn't send him. Yesterday they didn't. All the other days they sent him back, which is what they usually do. So that's okay. I expected them to do that. As close as possible, so you can see where his position is. So just like I'm out, it's right there. That stalker never changes his clothing. Everything is the same. Top, everything. I mean, CSIS is paying him. I think he'd be able to get a second set of clothes. So he also has that Barcelona jersey that he wears. There's that, and then this shirt, and that's it. That's all he wears. So So he's got to get his instructions from his owners, okay? Telling him what to do and to look over to see if I'm getting on and all that stuff. You know, so. I was just inside the doors here, right? Because it's raining, so it's kind of positioned in there. So they've told him to stand right over here as close as possible. Another slave wearing military camouflage here, as you can see here. Gotta wear the clothing they tell you to wear when you're part of the communitarian system and you're signed on to get your deal for your free condo and other wonderful things that you got. Yeah, you gotta wear that. You gotta wear the camouflage like a slave. Embrace your servitude. So, gotta wear the camouflage. Let me tell you, this guy's coughing. That's what you got everywhere now. Sure there's a better place where we can have them for them. So yeah, last time he wasn't here yesterday. The day before he got on the 32. I'm gonna go down here. He got on the 32 the day before yesterday. Sorry. Yeah, he wasn't here yesterday. Day before he got on the 32. But normally the 55 comes first. So I would expect him to get on the 55. Most likely. We'll just see if he does. I think the 55 will pull in first, most likely. Let's see from here which one that is. It's not right now. 400. He's kind of moving over there now. Okay. Let's move down further. That might be the 55 to be honest. Let's just see. Yeah, he's moving over there. So he knows it's going to be coming here soon. So just watch and see if he looks over before he gets on. They might have told him not to because he did that last time. So they probably told him not to do that this time. We'll see. I say he's not going to. He's just going to get on. Let's see. He's going to get on this one. Watch the 32, he'll get on this one. Watch and see. Yeah, he's going to get on 32. No, is he going to look over? Let's see. Yeah, he's going to get 32. No, like I said, because it goes down the same way, right? So the 55 will come next. Probably a minute. Looks over again. Same stock, as you can see. Same clothing too. He doesn't even change his clothes. Yeah, to look over towards me because they told him to see where I was going, whether I was getting on or not. So if I wasn't getting on, maybe they told him don't go and stand in front of that place. I don't know. Maybe he will today. Let's see. So he's getting on the 32 today. Either one goes down to the 32 or the 55, so it doesn't matter which one you get on. So I'm waiting for the 55, seeing if he's getting on there. That guy can't even go to the washroom without checking his phone. They have to tell him when he can go to the washroom, when he can blow his nose, anything like that. He can't function without letting somebody tell him what to do. So as you can see, the stalker got on the other bus. He's still waiting, right? So they had him wait outside there. He got on the bus ahead of me. I have footage of it. So they had him wait ahead of me, and he's walking over to the place right next door to where I live now. Again here, same guy, wearing the same clothing too. One headlight car there. You can see now when I got off the bus, you can see he was positioned just standing there waiting across the street, waiting for me to get off the bus. So I'm just going to show you. Even when I don't get on the same bus as him, they sent him to wait for me to get off. That's the same guy there, okay? Who I showed in the previous video. And as I was on the bus, I looked over. You could see he was right there, positioned across the street. He got on the other bus before me, which would have got here well before. It wasn't even in sight. Now look at, okay? That's right next door to where I live. So he's stopping, staring at the phone again. And keep in mind, he was there. He was sent to get on at the exact same stop as me and go right next to where I live. And now he's, as you can see, he's going to go in there. Now they told him to wait right across the street today as I got off. And now he's just going up to stand in front of the door, as you can see there. And he's wearing the exact same clothing too. The guy just doesn't even change his clothes. Or maybe they told him to wear it. I don't know. These people just get told everything to do, like even what clothing to wear. Same clothing the guy's wearing too. They probably told him to wear the same clothes. But that's okay. He'll put his face up again. What's interesting, here's another one headlight car here. You saw as soon as I got off, they had a person driving with one headlight. Now there's another one here as I come out of the store here. It's the black car there. You can clearly see that. I'll let you guess whether the police are going to pull him over or not for that. Take a guess. Somehow I doubt it, right? Some people are just allowed to break laws in this country. It's strange, isn't it? And others aren't. It's a very bizarre system you have here in Canada. But yeah, they'll just allow people to drive with one headlight off and break the law. The police will just allow them to do it. So it's a very strange thing. It makes you wonder why you have laws in this country. If those who are supposed to uphold them are just going to randomly let people break them or arbitrarily enforce those laws, which is what they do here. So, I'm just waiting for those security like Quebec stalkers, synchronizing right in front of me. Those same people I showed before, those prison guard thugs who show up to stalk me continually, they're there too, right as I get across from where I live here. So, was stalking from those thugs there, low IQ buffoons. Okay, there. Should've stalker here. Yeah, got his face too, good. Yeah, got his face too, good. Perfect. Right as I leave, just as I'm leaving, shortly as I, within a few steps of leaving, we got a stalking biker there showing up, and I got his face there, so good. I guess I could have gone around that way and been there earlier, but it'd be more easy. I just want to see if they're going to send him from this route too, because I'm earlier today. Another stalking biker that was just going up on there. They had him timed, that goon there, for just as I was leaving. Oh, check it out. That as well too, right? So first, another biker here. Second one. And he's got his, you can kind of see a little bit of his face, but not much there. So two bikers in the ambulance just as I leave. That's there. Yeah, that's the first stalking biker. He was positioned right waiting for me to leave there, obviously. They have him drive up just as I'm leaving. It's not good to record these things with a phone because the people who they're using are going to have already been told to accuse you of your filming. Even though that's what they do, it's their fault. It doesn't matter. They're told to invert everything. Blame the things that they're doing on the person they're harassing. So they've been given specific training in that, as have the police. Inversion, gaslighting, things like that. Always blame your own actions on the person who are attacking in this way. They have to do this because here's the police here. Speaking of it, they can't defend their actions, so they have to. That's car number. Can't see the car number. Maybe I'll see it when I review the footage. Can't see the car number. Maybe I'll see it when I review the footage. They were parked on the left and they just pulled out there to harass and intimidate. Let's take a look at the road here. I'll show you the road. No traffic other than, a few cars there. So no reason for them to be there other than to drive in front of me to harass and intimidate. And but they're trained in all of these specific things with regards to inversion, lying, and gaslighting. And essentially with them, they go to those Masonic diversion tactics. They go right to that manual. And so if you see the way they respond and all this, it's easy just to look at those diversion tactics, and you'll find 9 times out of 10 they're using at least one or some of those tactics. Because again, like a lot of the people they're using, even the police, they're not that sharp, right? But they're arrogant because they've been given powers that they should not have. Powers beyond that of what the ordinary citizen has. So that makes them arrogant and pompous and thinking that they can do whatever they want to. Yeah, a lot of times the area where I would enter, just right where the back entry is, they'll have someone just go and stand out there just as I'm about to arrive. But they just tell them just to make it look like you're having a smoke. But it's like, I'm coming in at like 10 at night and everything else would normally be quiet there. Sometimes later than 10, sometimes, you know, between 10 and 10:30 typically. So, as you can see here, right? The trail's completely dark, as you can see, but they send people wherever you go. So if you're going to go someplace where you would think that there would be nobody around after 10 p.m. At night with total darkness, you can't even see on the bike trail. But then they're going to send people on bikes to ride down a trail with no lights after 10 at night. It's all just about putting people wherever the subject of the harassment goes. That's what CSIS does. And so where I'm working too, they have a bunch of people they've put in there as well, who weren't there for, well, they've only put them in there recently to do a lot of these things too. And so that guy there, they've used him a number of times. He just goes out there and stands there just as I'm about to get there. He just goes out and lingers right next to where I'm going to enter. And those are the types of assignments they'll give them. Leaving when you leave, showing up just as you're going to show up. Sometimes they'll have people coming through there just as I'm about to enter as well. It's not every night though, because they know I record. So if you weren't recording these things, they may, you know, they could well go ahead and do those types of things every single night. So. But as you can see, not much light here along this back trail here. And, a lot of times I come up here, they'll have something drive up, whether it be a constable or police or one of those by law enforcement people. Their primary purpose is not actually enforcing the bylaws, it's stalking people. And that's, seriously, that takes precedent over any actual work that they would be doing. To actually do their jobs, it's going to become, what's going to come first is stalking people and doing what the state tells them as state-funded slaves that they are. Slightly higher, slightly above in the hierarchy, the proletariat. So those people get a little bit more, a few more privileges, and so they're always willing to show their gratitude for their slavery to their owners. And no free will there, no capacity for critical thinking there either. But then again, you know, a lot of those people in those positions have been raised that way, raised with no empathy, and conditioned to be who they are, unfortunately. So they'll have the stalking bikers tonight. I got some footage last night. Pretty decent compilation. I usually wait till I get a fairly decent compilation. I don't want it to go on too long either, because I have days of footage of that stuff. So up here, they'll probably go across the field. Let's see if they do. They just came from to the left there, that road on the left. You'll probably see some stalking bikers down here too. Yeah, Ottawa is very quiet at nighttime. Typically it would be, but not when I'm working. When I'm working, they'll go up to this straight down there and just biker gangs all night. Cars driving up in front of my workplace, then turning and going back in the opposite direction. Got some good footage of that last night. But I might have missed this. That was just stuff that I saw. I would mark down the times. So obviously I can't just look at it the whole time. I'm working as well. It's just what I can see while I'm working, because it's the window is kind of facing where all this is going on, and I'm the only one there. So It's interesting too, when I go in, right, after my coworker leaves, when I first go in and he's there, nothing, no noise, nothing like that. So they wait till he leaves to start the noise campaigns as well, because it would stand out to anyone. I mean, to have that go on that long all through the night, you know, it's very noticeable. And I'm fairly sure some people there in the area have noticed it as well. But again, they move a lot of people in who are a part of this, and they already know it's going to go on. But there's still people who've been there for years who must be thinking, okay, what's going on with that? Why would you have like a bunch of biker gangs driving back and forth on an otherwise completely quiet and dead street at like 3:30 in the morning on a weeknight? Well, firstly, the people who they use obviously don't have any meaningful employment. This is what they do. They harass people for a living. And our intelligence services are going to pay them to do that type of thing when they, instead of legitimately keeping people safe. Because most of the stuff that they're talking to you about keeping you safe from is just stuff that they've created anyway. I mean, but the vast majority of those videos you see with all this chaos going on, with like migrants who they've brought in, supposedly doing all these things, that's staged and orchestrated with the state. They're being told to act out these scenarios that makes it look like they're doing these things. And then, of course, they bring all these other people out to be counter-protesters, and they have all these fake, staged, orchestrated clashes. And this is meant to justify bringing in more of a police state. Because we need order out of chaos, right as I get here. Order out of chaos, that's the goal. So they create the chaos themselves by manufacturing all this fake conflict, using people who they control, these state-funded actors, people who have signed on and who get free accommodation for doing what they do. And naturally, if you're coming from a place where, you know, there's poverty all around, you're going to do whatever you can to just get to something better. So I can understand why people would want to be out of those places. And then they get here and they're exploited again. They don't necessarily see it that way, maybe, because they're getting all these, you know, the perks and benefits, but they're still being exploited by the state here. And so they have them stage most of what you see, anything like that, where it's like, it's just all what would be referred to as fear porn, and they're putting it out there so that people will be traumatized with fear, so that they will therefore be more willing to concede, giving up some of their rights for more false security from things that these psychopaths have created themselves. And that's how that operation goes. So, ambulance showing up there. I'm not carrying a phone either, so that was very precise there as I came down. Weather's nice though still tonight. It's just nice. It feels like kind of like, well, it is like summer. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So, I haven't seen one have their car here yet. Let's see if we get one at least. Not yet. Those trucks they use them out there. This white truck. So 5 stalking bikers in a row, all driving up the same way. What they do is when I'm at work, they'll drive up one way, they'll immediately come back and drive back the other way. Check this out right there. No one else around. And then they'll have them drive back the other way. So that was time for me just coming down here, as you can see. They'll have them go out, usually within 5 minutes. Most of the time, it's around 5 minutes. They'll come back and drive back by my workplace the opposite direction. And that goes on all through the night. And as do cars with engines that are tampered with, so they're extremely noisy. They send them by all night too. And they'll also have cars drive up right in front of where I'm working, then turn around and go back the opposite way. That goes on all night as well. You'll see some of that in the next video coming up. But the biker gangs, like what you saw there, they've been using them to show up wherever I go for 4 years. I have evidence of that. That's been going on in Toronto. It's been going on here in Ottawa. It's been going on in Gatineau and Hull and in Aylmer. And so when I'm at work at night, they have to have those people do extreme noise harassment campaigns, driving back and forth all night on a weeknight when there'd be no traffic virtually normally. It's interesting. There's another employee who was over at my workplace last week who stopped in. While he was there, I think there were like in like 2.5 hours, there were like 2 cars that went by. And then you see what I have on the evidence of these biker gangs and whatnot. So not one of them went by while he was there. So when other people are there, they more or less shut that down and keep it quiet. Now during the day, there's a lot more plausible deniability. So they just, you know, it's really, really noisy anyway. So during the day, there's a lot more of that. I don't really record it as much during the daytime hours because, you know, that can be a little bit more attributed to plausible deniability. At 3 in the morning, it can't. But yeah, one also has to take into consideration that I've shown evidence of this for 4 years, 3 different cities, 2 different provinces. And these are people who they use to harass people. Some of them are off-duty firefighters and police. Others are people they've even trained their kids to do these things, to harass people. And they've been obviously promised by the drug trafficking police that there'll be no repercussions. So the police are encouraging and allowing people to break Canadian laws, which further just runs their reputation into the dirt, as if you needed to do that anymore, right? When you go to your job and everything you do at your job is the exact opposite of what you tell people to do, you're pretty much discredited as an organization. And then you bring into it the fact that you're allowing organized crime to function, that some of these cops are members of organized gangs themselves with their satanic Kabbalah-related tattoos all over their arms. Now, just going back just 20 years, they wouldn't let anyone in these police or in public service sectors looking like that, right? That just gives a bad image. What are you, like a gang member who's pretending to serve the public? I mean, but again, they're just mindless. They do what they see everyone else doing. So they have to get all these tattoos all over their bodies because they see everyone else around them doing it. They're not capable of individual thought, and they want to be accepted by the swarm as well, right? They have to be accepted by the mindless swarm of other cops who are also doing that, and the people at their lodges who are doing it too, just covering themselves in these satanic and Kabbalah-related tattoos. So they always use another thing too is, so just get this, and I'll turn back on. Always, invariably, they use a group of these people. They have them surround you in a swarm because they know how mediocre all of these people are if they're on their own. They know how they're not intelligent, they're not capable of defending their actions. So that's why they always use them in a swarm. As you can see, that was the same group that went by up there, coming back around again as they come down here to go to work. And those are the same people who they used to harass me all night at my workplace there. So they timed it so they're going up there just as I'm coming down to work. But getting back to my point, that shows it right there, right? They're always going to try to intimidate you in groups because they're so mediocre as individuals. They're so flimsy, unintelligent, generally just feeble as individuals. So Freemasons see that as honorable. 12 people surrounding one person and harassing them. That's what they see as honor and integrity. And it's the same thing with the cops. It's always going to be 20 cops surrounding one person when they're harassing them. While they enable crime, allow organized crime to function freely, get their cuts of the drug money. And so that was about, I would say, maybe less than 5 minutes there. I'll have to look at the time, but as you can see, they arrived on that side of the street, they went up there, just turned, came back down and went by me again there. That's what they do all night at my workplace too. And it's criminal harassment, and it's enabled by the Ottawa police, the drug trafficking, crime enabling Ottawa police. And also exploiting, like, some of these people are like teenagers who they're using to do this. So it's obvious they're being told to do it by someone else. It's not just something you would do for no reason. So the police in Canada encourage people to break the laws. They allow people to endanger the lives of everyone on the road by telling them to drive with headlights off at night, which is, again, against the law. The police encourage that. They encourage criminal harassment of law-abiding citizens. They are active in the distribution of hard narcotics all throughout this country. There's that organization, all of those organizations should be shut down, and the people in them should be doing prison time. When the people who are supposed to uphold your laws are doing the exact opposite and committing crimes and completely making a mockery of their positions and degrading their positions, the organization itself is obviously to blame, because none of that stuff could be happening with that many people doing those things unless it was the full organization being complicit in it. So that's CSIS, though, too. That's Danielrogers and CSIS who sends these criminal stalking motorcycle gangs to harass me. And CSIS have been doing that for 4 years. And these motorcycle gangs are fully involved in the drug trade as well. And the police allowed drug dealers to run their businesses in Canada. Now, you'll never, ever, ever hear any of this from those Freemason auditors who work with the police. You'll never hear that from those actors because they run cover for the police. They're Masonic brothers. And everything you see with them is staged, and it's just laughably ridiculous. But that's how Freemasons operate. What you see there, it's always outnumbering a person, surrounding one person and swarming them, because the people themselves are so beyond mediocre. That's what they have to do. You have to swarm around a person in a gang if you completely lack any substance as an individual. And that's what they do. Like I discussed before, they break down the individual and the military and make you a part of a swarm, a collective. One mind. So there's no dissent. You're just going to do what you're told like a slave. And that's what our military is now. And that's why they're fully involved in these operations as well. And the organized harassment campaign is essentially a military operation. They just tell you have to do what's best for the community, but they determine what that is. They determine, the people telling them that, what to do, determine what that is. So there's no free will involved. And again, the police allowing people to engage in criminal harassment in Ottawa. More evidence of that. I'll have that all night. I'll add whatever I get tonight to the video and then probably have it completed tomorrow, although I don't know. Could add more time to it, so I might wait a little bit this week. We'll see. What you can see also for sure is that is pre-planned, because they're just telling them to go up one way, drive up one way, turn around and come back and go the other way. That's criminal harassment. And that's enabled by the Ottawa police all night too. Because they have to terrorize you even when you're just at your job trying to do work. And that's fully, some of the people involved in it are off-duty cops too, with their drug trafficking friends in these gangs as well. They're Masonic brothers, all of it done through Masonic lodges, all organized crime, orchestrated. Doesn't mean that every single member of these organized crime syndicates are going to be going to Masonic lodges. Obviously they're going to keep that would stand out too much. But there's connections, that's the thing. There's police up there now. Ottawa police showing up there after that gang of bikers that you saw going both ways as I'm coming to my workplace. Ottawa police showing up there to stalk and intimidate. Just pulling up just up across the street there. Now this is all I'm trying to do here is just go to my job at night, and you get terrorized by these people who enable all sorts of crime, who are responsible for crime all throughout this area, manufactured crime, which they use to justify more and more police tyranny. You can see them right there. They just pulled up after their gang of bikers went both directions to harass me in both sides. Can't see the car number from here. Another stalking biker there, fully involved with the police. Those people are. And the tactics that the Ottawa police are involved in are identical to those used by Vladimir Lenin, communist tyrant Vladimir Lenin. That's what they partake in, harassing their own citizens. I mean, even Lenin didn't have the police trafficking drugs, though. I mean, even for him, that was a bit far, you know. But these people, you know, to them that's perfectly normal. And order out of chaos agenda. So all of these Freemasons involved in breaking down the stability of the country, demoralizing the country by flooding it with narcotics, and then ensuring that criminals who deal the stuff can operate freely, and many of these criminals who deal the stuff are those same people who you see in these stalking biker gangs. It's also interesting, you can see all this programming in a lot of Hollywood movies. Another police car there, another second one there. Again, not doing any work, just showing up here because I'm walking across here. I turned back and went around just because I had a bit of extra time. It's the second one to pull up there. Now, were it not for all these manufactured chaos events, there would be literally no crime in Ottawa. See, they're kind of circling around here as I walk across this field here because there's no one here, so they have to send the police to circle around me. And the police don't actually deal with anything legitimate in this country. You'll see most of them have Masonic tattoos, Kabbalah-related tattoos, and the Kabbalah also is where the whole changing the gender of a child comes from. The Masons who they have going out to fake expose that, the controlled opposition Freemasons like that guy Billboard Chris, I don't know if you've seen him, they promote him all over YouTube. He's another Freemason who they have running cover, get this, running cover on child abuse, running cover on the changing the gender of a child. He goes out and pretends to expose that while he holds up a sign with the QR code, okay? The QR code that's going to be intertwined with the digital ID. So obviously he's controlled by the state, just like that True North Transparency guy shows that same symbol. And he's told to promote that. But what he does when he goes out and talks about that, yes, he'll tell you all these things it's child abuse to do that for sure, but he won't tell you where it comes from. And I'll tell you, it's directly from the Kabbalah. And look at a picture of the Baphomet, and you'll understand, the androgynous goat creature. Why are they trying to normalize that by saying the goat, the acronym the GOAT, the greatest of all time? It's just subconscious programming to normalize their veneration of that Baphomet, androgynous creature. And going all the way back to the Knights Templar with that thing. And so that's what it is. It comes directly from that. Billboard Chris and all these actors. You know, he's with Rebel News too. He's associated with Rebel News. And they run cover on these things. Rebel News will talk about that. But they won't tell you where... They'll make it seem like these ideas just popped out of nowhere. They just came out of thin air. No. This is the Kabbalah, which is actively practiced within Masonic lodges. And we have evidence of police officers wearing those red string bracelets, which endorse the Kabbalah. So they're endorsing changing the gender of children. And if you doubt that that's what that is, I can go through literature, and you can clearly make the connections. There's another police car there, the third one. This time going back, so it was probably the one that just pulled up there is now going back the other way, because I've walked a number of times back and forth across this field now over here. See? Yeah, so they're sending police to basically swarm around the area. First they had the biker gang, and it's 30 p.m. at night. This place would be 10:32 right now. It would be normally very quiet. I'm not carrying a phone either. So they can still trace where you are. And then another person walking up here. But that's what it is. So they have all these people, these actors controlled by the state, who are really not against these agendas. They're really for them. But that's how psychotic these people are. And most of them, like that Billboard Chris guy, they're from families within the communitarian system. They run cover on the fact that the changing the gender of a child, of course it's child abuse, like he says, but it's also the Kabbalah. So if people knew that, they'd understand on a large scale. They'd understand that this is promulgated heavily in Masonic lodges and even in Masonic writings, with Albert Pike promoting it. And any Mason who goes and tries to tell you that Albert Pike, oh, we don't care about his, they just lie about everything. So you can rest assured they're going to use inversion and lies when confronted about that, and when confronted about the fact that Albert Pike openly says that, you know, Lucifer is the god of Freemasonry. In Morals and Dogma, he talks specifically about his veneration for Lucifer, while endorsing the Kabbalah. So it's done through Masonic lodges. The male police are almost all Freemasons, and you see them wearing Kabbalah red string bracelets that many of the elites are wearing too, like Justin Sinclair, real name Justin Sinclair, not Trudeau. Donald Drownfight. I don't know if he's been seen wearing one. Maybe they he probably does when he's not, you know, in front of the camera. But all of them do. And they have to practice that deranged, child abuse endorsing, absurd ideology. And they know, the people who want to promote this Kabbalah throughout all the culture, they know they can't come right out and speak openly about it because people would reject it. It's insane. So the psychopath Masons who promote this stuff have to do it in secret, and they use the media to subconsciously program people to normalize it, just the way Billboard Chris is trying to get you to, if you're familiar with him. He's another, just a funded change agent shill, but what he's running cover on is a lot more nefarious. So he has that QR code again, and that's going to be intertwined with the digital ID, which shows you right out there that these people, all these people, most of them who they have speaking out against this stuff, are working for the state and are just controlled opposition. People who really reject this stuff are not going to have any voice. They shut you down, and they use their own people, and this way they can guide the narrative in whichever direction they want it to go. So that's 3 police cars and a biker gang going both directions, just as I am on my way to work tonight. Walked back there just to kill a little bit of time, and the police showed up 3 times there. The one car turned back and came back the other direction again there. Labor Day was always Labor Day is always kind of a depressing day because, like, you know, the summer's over. No one really, I mean, when you're younger, like when you're a kid. Here's another stalking biker here, covering his face, of course, completely covered. It's just, when you're younger, you just don't, I disliked Labor Day. Because, you know, usually when you're a kid, you have a lot of fun in summertime. So the summer's over and back to school again, all that nonsense. Back to the brainwashing. And, but now you can only imagine how bad that's got to be in terms of what's in the schools. I mean, basically knowingly lying to children, bringing them up to lie and deceive, telling them there are 900 genders and encouraging them to change their gender and what. It's just insane. And that's not exaggeration, that's actually going on. Now, if you went back like 20 years ago and told people that was going to be going on, a lot of people would be outright shocked by that. Now, look at it. I mean, most of the opposition to it is just fake controlled opposition. Which tells you if they have people who are willing to do fake controlled opposition roles over things like that, I mean, that tells you the type of people that they've got involved in this stuff. And so to be able to do these things without using physical force, they have to go to all these lengths to deceive people. It's endless deceit, and it takes a lot of maintenance and upkeep, obviously, to continue that type of thing. Both sides here and it's got his camouflage shorts on like a good slave, having a grown man who has people telling him what to wear in the morning there. And then there's the third bicyclist that's gone by me on that side in a matter of seconds. 3 there. Probably sees his people. Some cars here. Yeah, imagine that, eh? Imagine being a grown man and you get told what you're gonna wear in the morning like a little kid. But he's okay with it. They're okay with it. As long as they get their few perks and benefits. They'll do anything the state says. If you tell him to put on a skirt, he'll put on a skirt gladly. And he'll put his hair up in a man bun. That's a lot of them are told to do too. I mean, you can't possibly think that just randomly sprung up out of nowhere. It's androgyny, again, coming back to the Kabbalah. The interchanging of male and female, the sacred feminine or whatever, and the masculine. All of that in those teachings. Insane teachings being promulgated. And it's done through subconscious programming because, again, the people who push it can't come right out and tell you it. They lie about everything, so they have to normalize it through deceit, manipulation, and just putting it in everything you see around you, normalizing it, but making it look subtle. Same thing they're doing with the QR code. That is a nefarious symbol, and that's going to be used to everything you purchase. That will be the method that will be used when they take cash away. So you know what to think about people who are promoting that. This is the second person who has just come down here. Looks like we got, and then right as I'm leaving here too. Right in front of me, as you can see there. It's even coming down on motorcycles down the path as I go by here. So, it's another CSIS stalker there. And he drove it pretty close to me there too. So he pulled out from there, on a motorcycle there, down there, which is just a bike trail there, just to drive by me. After all night at my workplace, I'm harassed by these people. It's Danielrogers and CSIS sending these motorcycle gangs to